Hey everybody, it's Divine Readings with a Gypsy, and I'm here today to talk about the way I read Lenormand. And the reason why I am going to make this video is because I feel like that there's a lot of people who are trying to learn Lenormand out there that wants to see how others read Lenormand. I find that is actually very helpful as far as watching videos go and seeing how other people respond to certain cards and how they relate to the reading and everything like that. So I'm hoping that my camera is going to behave well and not actually be bad. So this is my first time really using my handheld camera. I've tried to use it several times, but it's kind of a hit or miss, so we'll play and see how it works out. We're going to first start off with the Rider card, and the Rider, I like this deck because even though I think it's actually a really terrible deck for a beginner, I'll tell you why here in a second, but the Rider, I view the Rider in my practice or in my readings when I view the Rider is somebody new coming in, whether it's your friends coming in or your neighbors or somebody on the external force. It's a physical person coming into your life, maybe a lover, maybe a message, or somebody bringing you news or just saying hi today, that kind of stuff. And the reason why I say also that this particular deck is the worst for beginners is because of this very nice cute little riddle. And I'll do a full review of this particular version of the Lenormand deck on a later date, but I find that it's very confusing for a beginner to have riddles and things like that and not have something with just a regular card face. Because I find that if you're trying to learn and you're not really jiving with the meanings of what's on the card, then it will really throw off your reading and throw off your groove. But now that I've been reading Lenormand for quite some time, I could actually bypass the riddles. But that is how I view the Rider card for the most part, because the Rider card is somebody new coming in or new coming in. Clover is, to me, luck, fortune, good luck, good fortune, and that's pretty much how everybody views the Clover card. So I'm going to just quickly go to the next one. This one is actually a pretty challenging card for today's standards. I'll tell you why. When we were in the 1800s or in the early turn of the century, it was very common that you would get inheritance or money coming to you in the form of inheritance. And I find that the ship card in the past has to do with a lot with inheritance, but in today's standard, we don't really deal too much with inheritance unless somebody passes away or somebody grants us money to help us out in financial distress. Or let's say, put another modern twist on it. It could be food stamps, it could be WIC, or it could be governmentally funded services to help one out. I think that this card is, in time, has evolved into something else and a little bit more ambiguous than just something coming in. But it also could mean travel, or travel that brings money, or something like work travel, work money. You know, you're going to travel to work every day, commute. I do find that this card can get ambiguous with the modern times, so that's another thing that I wanted to address with Lenormand. This is your home, this is your dwelling, this is your house, this is where you live and where you're living at. And depending on which Lenormand house, so to speak, lands on, and I will talk about houses and stuff in Lenormand later. Alright, the tree is also another one that is very ambiguous with the times, but I think it also is, if you're not reading for health, this card could really throw you into a stump, because this card is all about your physical health as well as your spiritual health as well as your mental health and your personal growth and development as well. I think back in the turn of the centuries, when people were really reading Lenormand, they were really concerned about health matters and what health means to them in their physical stature. You know, are they healthy? Are they good? Are they feeling well, or are they not feeling well, or is their health in the crapper? That kind of stuff. So I do find that this particular card is actually still very accurate. I do read a little bit into health, but it's more of a well-being health. Like you're not battling your own health problems. You're not battling your own health issues. I do not diagnose or read for that kind of purposes, but I do say that you are viewing your health, and your health is in a very mental health, physical health is in a sound place or in a bad place. And I find that it's very much interchangeable. If you're really into yoga, into your spiritual practice, and your physical health, this is definitely one of those cards. Now, this one is a harder card. If you're using this particular kind of Lenormand deck, this is a harder card. It's not the mountain. It's supposed to depict the clouds. And that's one of the problems I have with the historical Lenormand decks, because it is kind of... you can't really tell if it's a cloud or is a mountain or is a path and stuff, but I'm getting off topic here. But the clouds is the bad things coming. It's you're in a dark time or in a bad time, or a bad time is coming, or is it going away? Is the clouds in front of you, or is the clouds behind you? How is the clouds interfacing with your physical stature at this time in space? And it's really a negative card. Are you in the dumps, or are you in the good place? Now, this is where my meanings kind of is different than most other people's meanings as far as Lenormand readings. I view the snake as the shadow self. I know Kelly from Truth and Story sees the snake is transformation. Kelly from Truth and Story views the snake as, are you transforming yourself? Are you moving towards something? Or, transformative state. Kind of like a death card in a way. I watch a lot of her videos enough to know that's how she views the snake card. But I view the snake as your shadow self. Meaning, what is your dark side? What is your side that you do not know that is happening, or you know that is happening, that is interfering with your life at this moment? I feel like Lenormand needed, when I was learning how to read it, this one was the one that really stumped me, like the Rider card. The Rider card really stumped me, and this one really stumped me, because I felt like there was too much of the same and not enough different. And I do find that in my readings with Lenormand, that the snake being the shadow self or the dark self is actually very accurate, so I thought that would be good to share. I do view the Coffin card as more like the death card, the transformation. I do find the Coffin card is like the new beginning, or changing into something else. I do find that the Coffin is not more like physical death, but it's more a death of a situation or transforming into something else. But in a traditional in the turn of the century, this is another health card. If you read this rhyme, it says, "Look out for the coffin, it brings sickness or death, and you're not careful, courage, wealth, and health will all breathe their last breath." Breathe their last breath, I mean. And you could read that there in that little poem. But so that's the way that they viewed it back in the turn of the century. But I find that this is more, has to do with transformation of oneself than actual physical illness or death. But it could mean that you're in a bad spot too. And this card is quite literally for me is a gift, or you're receiving something from somebody else as a gift, or you're being given happiness, or you're given something from somebody else, like your spontaneous gifts like money, love. You're receiving something. It's more of a receiving card. What are you receiving? What are you gifted? Is the way I view the Bouquet card. This one is a very interesting one. It is, what are you cutting away in your life? Or what are you breaking down? What are you breaking down and what are you cutting away? And the Scythe to me is like, what are you cutting away, or what are you breaking down? Are you breaking down yourself, or are you breaking down something that's ahead of you, behind you, or below you? What are you cutting away? And that's how I view the Scythe. Now, this is one that is very unique to the reader as well, with the broom and the whip. Some people view it as sex. I do not. I view the lilies as more as the sexual energy in Lenormand, whereas this has to do with your domestic household, your domestic partner, your domestic. Here we have communication, gossip, talking to friends, and did you hear what Susan did kind of thing. So this is the birds, and the birds are definitely talking or chatting on the phone. What are you communicating to others, or what is others communicating to you, and how does it relate? The child is definitely young people, children in your life. It's either a young person or a child figure that is in your life at this moment. Fox is another one that is very distinctive to the reader. Fox has to do with wittiness and cleverness. And what are you witty about? What are you clever about? What are you sneaking around about? Not really sneaking, but I'm just saying like that witty mindset. What are you doing? What are you thinking about right now? Witty, 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 witty. Are you witty at work? Are you witty at... What are you smart? What is your cleverness? Here I have the bear card, and the bear has to do with your maternal energy. Oh, that's something else I wanted to talk to you too. Depending on what context is your reading about, the fox could either be another masculine energy, or it could be wittiness. Whereas the bear, in my mind's eye, is the maternal energy, or the female energy, and your strength and your force comes from. So it depends on what the reading's about and what context for me. The fox either could be your wittiness or your cleverness, or the bear could be your strength or your maternal strength. The Stork card is your hopes and your wishes. What are you hoping for, or what are you wishing for? However, although there is a very interesting excerpt in the Essential Lenormand by Regina George, and she has a wonderful book. I highly recommend it for anybody who's really interested in Lenormand readings and want to branch out than just a basic Lenormand style reading. Out of the more modern and less 18th century style Lenormand reading. She also views that the stars could be cyber or electronic influences. What is in computers, technology is also related to the star card in her mind's eye. I only once seen the stars as far as technology and computers, and that was when I was working at my other job previously, and I was doing computer work, and the star card did symbolize that I was going to be doing a lot of computer work, and that was in the 3-card draw. And so it's very interesting that these symbols and stuff could actually change depending on what context your reading is going to be, and then we will talk about context and reading in a later video. For me, the Stork is all about migration. Where are you moving? Are you moving, or are you staying where you are? Are you migrating to work, or are you staying solitary where you are in your home? Or are you traveling? It's all about travel, in my opinion. And It could be something coming to you. If someone is wanting to have children or something like that, Stork could probably be some like a children coming into your life as well. But it, like I said, it's all about context. This is just a basic Lenormand meanings for me that we're doing today, and the Stork is all about travel, moving. The dog card here is all about friends, your friendship, and friends that are in your life. Is your husband your friend, or you're having male friends or female friends, or you just casual friends, or more intimate friends? What kind of friends are you having in your life? Tower is a very ambiguous card in Lenormand too. I feel like that this card is really, really hard to pin down in Lenormand because it doesn't mean what it means today is not what it back in 1800s, I think. I think we don't have anything in our today's society that really means tower anymore, and this, I think, really stumps many new Lenormand readers. I'm going to show you a quick picture of my self-made deck, which is this one right here. This is my self-made deck, and I probably will do a walkthrough of it later, but the reason why I chose this image for the Tower card, because the Tower card is more of like, what are you searching for? What are you proactively searching for? And what are you looking for in your life? And that's how I view the Tower card, but this card is definitely very ambiguous to the reader in Lenormand. This next card is the Garden card, and this one has to do with social gatherings, social media, social networks, social communities. What is your communities? Mountains, of course, is obstacles. What is your obstacles going on in your life at the moment? Path is what are your decisions and what are you deciding to do in a given situation. Mice is eating away, or it could be an overactive mind. Mice is more of the card of the mind. What is going on in your mind? Is it eating it away? What's eating away at your thoughts at the moment? Of course, the heart card is where your love is and where your love is at. Are you in love, or are you not in love, or where's your heart at the moment? Ring is engagement. What's bonding you, or what is not bonding you? Are you looking for somebody, or are you not looking for somebody? Book is knowledge and wisdom. Are you studying? What are you studying? What are you really interested in? I feel like a lot of people are interested in something. You can't tell me you're not interested in anything and you're not wanting to proactively go for anything. But the book, to me, has to do with schooling, study, knowledge, or interests. Letter is things that are coming in the mail, messages, more like emails, mail form, more as a written mail, in my opinion. Still, we still have written mail somewhere, whether it being emails, news, or written messages. Man, of course, is the man or the other spouse in your life, whereas the female card is usually your self card, or it depends if it's a male client or a female client. And I love a male and a female card either looking at each other or looking away from each other when it comes to the Lenormand style. I very much think that if you're single female, this is a person that is in your life proactively, whether it be in a relationship or looking for a relationship or a past relationship. And if you are one of those people, and vice versa with a man, by the way. And if you're proactively single and you don't want anything to do with this kind of relationship ness or anything like that, it could be a of another person in your life that you're very close to. Lilies is a hard one, and it's also unique to the reader. Lilies has to do with what is old, and I also have my meanings is sex is also part of the lilies card for me. The lily cards for me means sexual attraction, sexual interest, is also old things, lingering things. Well, sex could be old and sex could be lingering. And that's how I view lilies, as something that is mature. Also is a keyword that comes to mind with the lilies. What is mature? And what is maybe, if this is like in the place of like a man, you're interested in older men, or you have an older man in your life. It depends. It's all context and how you are reading your reading. Sun is where you're happy. Moon is your intuition of the mind. Keys is unlocking your new things in your life. Key, what you're opening up in your life, and what you're going to in new opportunities. Fish is your money. This is, for me, the work card. This is the card that you get for work and abundance. For me, this is really what the work card is, because where are you making your money? Where your fish are. And anchor is where your foundations are. Where are you grounded at? And lastly, we have the cross card, and the cross has to do with what is burdening you at this moment in time. Where are your burdens? And thank you for watching my video, and blessed be.